Among all of the Beatles songs, Helter Skelter may be the most controversial, not because of what it was meant to convey, but because of how it was misinterpreted by one of the most infamous criminals in American history, Charles Manson. Released in 1968 on the band's self-titled double album, often referred to as the White Album, Helter Skelter is born out of a creative rivalry between Paul McCartney and the explosive energy of The Who. Inspired by Pete Townshend's claims in the music press that The Who had just recorded the loudest, rawest rock track ever, McCartney felt challenged. He brought the idea to the rest of the band, saying they should try to outdo that intensity by pushing their own limits in the studio, turning up the volume and creating something as chaotic and unfiltered as possible. The result was one of the Beatles' most aggressive and unpolished tracks, a far cry from their earlier polished pop hits. With its frantic guitar riffs and pounding drums, Helter Skelter captured a rawness that was new for the band, aligning them with the rising wave of hard rock that was sweeping through the late 1960s. Yet despite its ferocity, McCartney has always maintained that the song's core was playful and rooted in nostalgia. He explained that the term Helter Skelter was widely misunderstood in the US, where many assumed it referred to a roller coaster. In truth, it was a popular fairground ride in Britain, spiral-shaped with a slide wrapped around the outside. For McCartney, it symbolized the highs and lows of life, thrilling ascents followed by sudden drops, a metaphor for the emotional roller coaster everyone experiences. He also shared that he and John Lennon drew creative influence from their love of Lewis Carroll's whimsical writing. In particular, some elements of Helter Skelter were loosely inspired by the fantastical songs found in Alice in Wonderland, especially the Mock Turtles tune, reflecting the band's deep affection for surreal and playful imagery. Unfortunately, the song's legacy would take a dark and tragic turn. A year after its release, Charles Manson, a failed musician turned cult leader, twisted the song's meaning into something sinister. He believed the Beatles were sending him secret apocalyptic messages through their music. To Manson, Helter Skelter was a prophecy of an upcoming race war. He came to view the band as messianic figures, identifying them with the four horsemen of the apocalypse and reading delusional meanings into their lyrics. Fueled by this warped interpretation, Manson incited a series of gruesome murders in 1969. Under his orders, members of the so-called Manson family committed a killing spree that shocked the world. On August 8th, actress Sharon Tate, who was 8 months pregnant, and 4 others, including coffee heiress Abigail Folger, were brutally murdered in her Los Angeles home. Just 2 days later, Lino and Rosemary LaBianca were also killed in a similarly horrific manner. At the crime scenes, investigators found chilling messages smeared in the victims' blood. The words "Rise" and "Death to Pigs" were scrawled on the walls, while Helter Skelter was written across the refrigerator door, forever linking the song to this dark chapter in American history. Manson later tried to shift responsibility, claiming that he was simply interpreting what the music told him. He suggested that the Beatles songs contained subliminal commands, and that the messages were embedded in the records themselves, not his doing. "Why blame me?" he insisted. "I didn't write the music." Behind the scenes, Manson had long hoped to launch a music career. He even attempted to record with producers and connect with the industry, but his efforts went nowhere. His frustration, combined with his delusions, eventually erupted into violence. He was sentenced to death in 1971, later commuted to life imprisonment, and remained behind bars until his death in 2017 at the age of 83. Despite Manson's twisted interpretations, McCartney and the rest of the Beatles never intended Helter Skelter to mean anything more than a chaotic, hard rock thrill ride. It was about the extremes of life, not a call to arms. But the damage had already been done, forever entwining one of the Beatles' boldest songs with one of the darkest moments in modern American crime history.